how my beautiful queens and handsome kings doing this morning? How you all doing? Welcome back to the start of a new vlog. How you all doing? I just said I cut the camera on today, which I was going to do anyway, start up a new video. Today is actually my off day. I go back to work tomorrow, and then Wednesday I got a doctor's appointment. Hoping and praying everything is fine. Like I say, gotta go, see about myself, make sure everything okay. But like I say, despite it all, I trust the Most High. I trust God. I know He gonna make a way, not for me, but for each and every one of us. It's so much just really continuing to go on, but I just, encourage everyone, each and every one of you, and, even I tell this to myself, it's just all we could do is just stay prayed up and just, pray for better days. It's almost like afternoon. When I say time is really flying, I don't know, I just got myself set to a, where I have like a routine, which y'all know on my off days, when I do, on my off day morning routine, I always like to get up around, get up at 9 o'clock. But I was sitting there, I was watching a YouTube video, and I got to get better with the getting up and scrolling. Really, I'm going to say this, I have gotten a lot better. Most of the time when I get up, either to check, because I have to tend to make sure my phone and my tablet is being fully charged, because I know lately sometimes the phone won't charge, and I always like for my phone and my tablet to be fully charged, especially by I catch lifts, to and from work, or even sometimes I have to catch them going to, like Wednesday, going to the doctor's office, and I just like to make sure they fully charged, especially the phone, because the phone, I never know when I might have to make a call or whatever, but I always like to make sure it's fully charged. But then even with my tablet, I check every now and then in the morning for emails, and just check and see if I'm getting emails and whatever. But the thing is, I was sitting here before I tuned in with you all. I had made me a bagel. I don't know, food just starting to taste. I don't know, it could just be my taste buds. I had made, I toasted, because I don't have a toaster. I just toast my bagels. Normally I toast my bagels in the skillet on the stove. I had toasted me a bagel, and I made some sausage. Just fried them on top of the stove. Really, I didn't even put grease in them, because I feel like for some reason sausage, ground beef, that kind of meat, say like it carries grease. So I think I was telling you all, I've been trying to cut back on a lot of greasy food, but me just putting the sausage in the skillet and letting it do its thing has really been helping. All that grease just really don't interact with me no more, and I'm trying to be careful, and hopefully I hope and pray I lost a couple of pounds when I do go to the doctor, because they weigh you on the scale to check your height and stuff. So I hope I lost some form of pounds, because I feel like I lost a little weight. I notice even when I'm putting my work uniform on, the pants do feel kind of a little more lighter on me than normal, than fitted or tight. But yeah, I'm trying to cut back on grease. I remember, I think over a year ago, last year when I went to the doctor, they said my cholesterol was just extremely high, and cholesterol is very, very serious. It's put me in mind of high blood pressure, and you don't want to, you want to make sure you taking good care of yourself. You don't want to be around here having high blood pressure, because I have high blood pressure too, especially high blood pressure and high cholesterol is like really two things you really need to take serious, and you shouldn't be, let it go unnoticed. And so I noticed by I get a lot of bad migraines, I was like, I hope, and at that time I didn't know it was my cholesterol, because overall my blood pressure be pretty normal. Like my blood pressure ain't never really just been bad. It used to be the cholesterol. So when they was telling me that, I just said I'm gonna try to cut back on certain foods I eat, or if I do eat like foods that require grease, either bake the food or just, like with the sausage, for instance, I just put them in the skillet and let it do its thing. It wasn't greasy at all. But overall, my morning been very, very peaceful. I just been low-key really reading. I just really, when I say I kept reading the Bible like I'm reading a book, that's where you cannot stop reading and you just get really deep into it. That's how I did this morning. I had just went back and refreshed, just went back and kind of read a couple scriptures that I feel like I need really to apply more in my life. I was kind of somewhat different verses. I read Isaiah 55 and 60. Then I went on back to Psalms 91. I read Psalm 77. And then of course, y'all know I'm telling y'all for my major study, I'm still currently reading the book of Revelation. So I read that in the Bible as well. And I also read the workbook. So I'm a little further ahead in the Bible with Revelation than the workbook. In the workbook, I'm like on Revelation 11. So I'm just kind of, reading the workbook piece by piece. It breaks it down of, what the Bible talk about in Revelation. And so I was just sitting there and I was thinking, and I don't know, I was thinking about something that was said to me, and it just, every day, like I said, every day I pray and I hope for better days ahead for each and everybody. It's just really sad that people is really suffering in silence, and you be surprised because most time people not gonna just really tell you. The coffee, it was good. It's actually my second cup. Because when I was reading my Bible, I was sipping on that coffee, being good. I was before I tuned in with you all too. I was placing it because it looked like I'm gonna have to get some more groceries too. Do a Kroger Instacart probably one day before this week is out. I got to stock back up on more items and food. Just the food prices just really getting out of control. But I do shop with Kroger time to time when it's something that I really need, like far especially Kroger do carry a lot of my coffee remedies, like the coffee syrups. I can get them like on there for like $4.90, for $5. It say $4.99, but you round out, that's $5. But yeah, I was looking, I was on there just putting some stuff on my cart so when I check it off. But yeah, I look like this, I'm noticing I'm starting to, most people have to probably spend money on groceries like twice a week, and I'm kind of one of them following, even though I don't cook a lot, but I do like to make sure I'm fully stocked up on stuff just in case something was to occur and I can't, get items, or, you just never know, because like I say, the state of where we at right now, you just want to make sure you're being very, making sure you taking care of yourself and making sure you stocked up on things that you might need. So if you can't get to a store, or, you have those items, and so that's how I've been looking at it. So I probably have to get some more, start back up on groceries this week, because like I say, this past week I only got like a fruit items and one like a big grocery haul anyway, because like I say, stuff just so expensive now. But yeah, people really just, I don't know, we just living in a day and age now where you just never know what people and like I say, some people just don't care, because if it's not them, they really don't care. And I know that's not the way to be. I've never been the type of person where I look down on someone, and and I always said, if I can help somebody the best way I can, I will. And if they reach out and say they need help, and if I have it, I try my best, even though I know I'm kind of going through life like everybody else is, just trying to survive the best way they can. But me working in this industry of hospitality, I see a lot of things, and some stuff just it really do something to my spirit. But y'all know, I think I was telling you all, since I've been staying here in the city, like since all the cost increases and everything, I noticed the homeless rate here have really increased. And I never seen the homeless rate this bad in this Memphis. I'm just being honest. Like I say, I know homelessness is, probably all over the world. But I know it's just really sad that the city is not really doing much about it, like really helping people, at least help them with some type of food or shelter. But it's all about paying. Like, majority of the people that's out on the streets or whatever, they, when they try to go stay in the shelter, or reach out for help, they say the people they have to pay, you know. And my thing is, it's really sad because I'm starting to see now that the city will put more money into things or projects that I feel like can be on hold for a second versus them fixing some of these older buildings up and turning to some type of resources for people that really in need, you know. Because it's just really getting real bad out here. Like the things I'm seeing, it just really brings tears to my eyes, you know. And I just sometimes wish it was more I can do, but I know I don't have much myself. You know, I go to work, I'm working a regular job, just like, you know, the average person is, and I'm barely getting by myself. But if I can help somebody, I will, you know. But there was a young man came in, you know, in the hotel yesterday. He wanted some water, and I wasn't gonna turn him down. I wasn't gonna tell him, hey, you gotta get up out of here. I gave him a cup of ice water because, like I say, at the end of the day, the people that's, you know, that can be my brother or my sister, or, you know, the people that, you know, might not have a home of their own. You know, you don't treat people that's out there on the streets bad, you know. And I used to have to get on one of my former coworkers about this. She no longer worked with me. She used to really look down and bad on people that don't have nowhere to go, and I used to have to tell her, you need to humble yourself, you know, because those are God's children. Just like, you know, with her religion, some stuff you just can't speak to people when they don't really understand, and she was just one of them people that just don't understand really, you know. Like I say, everybody raised differently or brought up different, so I know, you know, because she brought it up to me, you know, I know she wasn't, I'm not gonna just get deep into her religion, but she just her beliefs was totally different than mine. So I'm gonna say it like that. But you know, she had about, oh, they need to get a job, and you know. But my thing is, you don't know what led people out on the street. Sometimes people can really been the person that worked all their lives, or you know, might have did the best they can before they might have, you know, before life took a turn with them, and you just never judge a person, you know, because like I say, sometimes people could have had a traumatic experience that led them, you know, out on the streets, or they might have went through some type of abuse, or, you know, lost a loved one that, you know, might have always been there for them. And now that they don't have nobody else they can count on, you know, it's plenty of reasons why, you know, people might be led out where they don't have a home to call their own. But my thing is, I just really wish people can get back into the state of having more, and it's not everybody, where they can have more respect for humanity. Y'all hear me talk about it all the time. It's just now that I'm seeing more and more now that some people don't have a care. And I just hate when people speak down on others' current situations, because like I say, the world we living in now, you know, everybody is out here trying to do the best they can. Everybody is somewhat on survival mode, trying to do the best they can. Even me, with myself, I have to stay prayed up at all times. You know, I thank God for, you know, for him blessing me. I try to appreciate, and which I'm appreciative, like I say. You know, it took a long time for a door to open for me to be, you know, in a home of my own, you know. But I even still, to the day, I still have to keep asking God, please keep me covered. Please keep me where I can be able to afford to pay my bills, where I can, you know, still be able to sustain life. Because like I say, from when it come down to the business-wise, a lot of places, even here in the city, some of them not doing too well. And, you know, they're not going to tell you, you know, but I'm seeing it from my own eyes. So that's why even with myself, I have to keep myself lifted up in prayers too, because I'm out here in it. I mean, I'm out here, you know, trying to survive just like everybody else. And, you know, I mean, we all need money, you know, in order to, you know, sustain life, you know. And it's just really sad that we living in a day and age where, you know, is really affecting people mentally, and then it's also causing some people to look down on other people. And my thing is that this just not the time and for us to be looking down on nobody, because like I said, we all, you know, trying to survive and make a living and trying to do the best we can, you know. And I, you know, sometimes I even have to tell, you know, it just, I don't know, the days I be out for work like now, I be embracing these days sometimes. And I know I always said that because I'm just trying to wait before I take my vacation. I want to make sure, because right now we still getting pretty much a lot of business. I'm trying to take advantage of those days and the hours that's given to me. But I did say probably around the holiday time, like around Christmas, and when it get kind of slow, I'm gonna probably use my vacation days and just take that up, and maybe just either, if I'm able to take a little mini trip or vacation, I might consider doing that. Because we all need peace. Everybody needs some form of something that give them peace, outside of work, or even, you just never know how much it will play a good role. Well, I ain't gonna say a good role, but a role that'll help you, just ease your mind, because all these thoughts and everything that's coming to you back at once, it's like, you need a peace of mind. And that's one thing I'm learning. Even my great grandmother always taught me, never let nobody steal your joy. And because if you let somebody take your joy, you'll just be like a person walking around here with no, I can't remember exactly her words, but she always used to tell me, they might try to break your heart or something, but never let nobody affect your mind and take your joy, because them two right there you need. I mean, you would literally be gone if you let somebody interrupt your peace as well as your joy. Like I think what keeps me going, I find joy in the littlest things that life has to offer. Like, I don't really, I'm trying to figure out how the word to say. I don't let every little situation really affect me. Like, even though a lot of bad things might occur or happen that come against me, I try not to look at it. I just look at the good things, because I know greater is ahead. But I know sometimes some things can be easier said than done. But I just try to find peace in the littlest things, enjoy, just appreciate the littlest things. Like, I don't have to have the fancy stuff, the fancy, to make me happy. But like I say, also, there's nothing wrong with having something that you always worked hard for, because I do know we can live in a day and age where people will criticize people for, you just never know what the people have to go through to get these, expensive things. And like I say, everybody should be able to reward themselves for their hard work. So if it's a car you've been wanting all your life, a dream car, I mean, you supposed to bless yourself and get that car you've been wanting, But we do live in a day and age where people seems to criticize people over, something that they might always want and they work hard for. Because I feel like when you're a person that always been working hard, you're supposed to treat yourself to something. I do say that, I probably don't speak on it all the time, but, even myself, like that time for my birthday, I end up like with my favorite fragrance by Jackie Aina, the Forever Mood, the perfume. I'm like, you know what? I'm finna get the big size. I'm finna upgrade to the bigger size bottle, because normally when I purchase her scents, I always get the little travel size. But I said, hey, I work so hard. I need to, prioritize and give myself some self-care at times, and I want that big size bottle of fragrance, and I'm gonna get it. And and it just made me feel good about myself. I'm like, I'm finna get this for myself, because like I say, on your birthday, your birthday you get a birthday once a year. You're not gonna stay the same age. You're gonna age as you continue to live life, and you just want to make sure you living to the fullest, but also making sure you find some type of peace in it, and doing things that, or finding value. I mean, I'm trying to say, I say, do things that you enjoy doing, but also make sure you pouring back into yourself, especially when you work like in the industry like I work at, where I'm putting others before me all the time, and then like I say, me being rewarded after I make sure I'm taking care, being an adult, because being an adult is hard enough. So after I'm making sure bills get paid and all that, and groceries and all the other necessities, I feel like I do deserve to reward myself for something that I want, but yeah, it's a lot though. I just been noticing how, it's just no respect no more for human life, and it just it's getting out of control. And like, I mean, I wish people can just, you know, come back to reality and just, you know, come together, you know. Yeah, but it's a lot. Yeah, but I just never seen nothing like it. I haven't. But yeah, I was just sitting here. I was thinking about that. I said it's just really sad because, um, you know, it's just this city definitely got to do better when it come down to the citizens, if I'm pronouncing it right, because there's no way in the world that it should have gotten this far where the homeless rate increased. And I'm starting to see more and more young people out there on the streets than, you know, older. Majority of the homeless people that I have seen this, you know, on the streets, a lot of them is young, like 19, 20, 21, and you know, and it just brings tears to my eyes. It really do. But the young man came in. He asked for a cup of ice water, and I made sure I gave it to him because, like I say, it's so hot. It's so hot here in the city. It's very hot, you know, and it's just really sad, y'all. It really is. But I hope, like I said, I keep saying, I just hope things get better, you know. That's all anybody can pray and wish for. You just pray that it get better, even though when you seeing things so gloomy, you just want to see the brighter days ahead. But yeah, like I say, I'm just sitting here, getting relaxing, and I had to water my plants today. I ended up having to take one of my plants out the old vase and put it in the I ended up putting in it's like it was once a garbage can, but it looked more like a vase that you'll put a plant in. Because y'all know, I think I was telling y'all, I've been trying to find like a big size garbage can for my kitchen. I might just have to go in store or just order it from Walmart or maybe TikTok shop. I just haven't really been able to get out and go inside the stores. That's why when it come down to groceries and certain items, I just Instacart it. But yeah, the garbage can was just too small for my kitchen, so I just ended up washing it out real good, putting the plant vase up in there, and it basically looked like a vase to me if you look at it. But the plant, yeah, it's really growing. I got it inside I got both of them. I keep them in the window because there's sunlight. Yeah, it's just really too hot to have them sitting on my porch. Yeah, we've been still getting a lot of hot heat, like 100-degree index, 99 some. So they say it'll probably like 113 this week. So it's just really extremely too hot to really have the plant sitting outdoor. But as long as they getting that sunlight, natural sunlight coming through the window, they pretty much fine. But yeah, you all, I just want to kind of come in and start a new vlog off. I don't know how much footage this is. I might end it off right here because I don't want to make it too long. Like I said, it's just really kind of like a little short morning in my life. It's just turned afternoon now, so I probably just gonna edit, you know, start editing this video, and yeah, I'll be talking to you all.